Hello everyone, good morning. Let's start with our session. So yesterday we discussed about what? The differences between ASP.NET and MVC, right? I will explain one more time now, and after that we'll go with some other. Okay? Are you guys able to hear me? ASP.NET MVC. So here the first difference is what? MVC. So separation or separation logic. So ASP.NET MVC supports separation logic. So that is what MVC. So model code will be separately maintained, view code will be separately maintained, controller code will be separately maintained. That is what separation logic. Okay. But in ASP.NET, we don't have like that. So no separation logic or something. Simply we'll have what? ASPX file and ASPX.cs. That's it. So in MVC, we have a beautiful concept of called routing. What is routing? Making of user friendly URLs. That is what called as routing. Okay. So we can define our URL structure. We can change our URL structure. So we can do that on our own. So that is what routing, and in ASP.NET that is not possible. Okay. So see, we have two types of view engines. One is Razor and one is ASPX. .NET, ASP.NET MVC supports Razor and also ASPX. But nowadays, the Razor is the default view engine for our MVC applications. But in our ASP.NET, it supports what? Web forms only. Web form like ASP controller name, .NET equal to server XYZ something. Okay, that one. So up to this point, clear, everyone? First 3 points clear, guys. Please come. Okay. State management technique. See, for example, what is state management technique? So basically, it doesn't maintain the state of previous request, and once the request is completed, they will be deleted, the data. For suppose, if you want to pass the data from controller to view or controller to controller or controller to controller one action method to another action another action. In this case, we have a concept called view bag, view data, and temp data. Okay. So we have a concept of state management techniques handled via view bag, view data, and temp data. So since control and view are dependent on are not dependent, and also there is no view state concept in ASP.NET, MVC makes keep page lightweight. But anyway, you don't need to remember all these things. Is fine. Okay. State management technique handled via temp data, view bag, and view data. State management technique handled by using what? View state or something. We can tell all those things. So that's what it is saying. Large view state, in other words, increase the page size. So partial views. What is partial view? For example, people tell me, now please answer me. I will ask you something. So when a people click on login or something, then what will happen? Here, this header part, this will be common everywhere, right? And similarly, if we go down, somewhere we have what is that? So somewhere we have the footer or this left side bar. So these are all common every time. Yes or no? Do people agree for that? So that header, comma, footer, comma, left side bar is common for all. You guys agree for this line? Do you guys agree for this line? For suppose, for suppose, we have header, 100 lines code, and footer, 100 lines code, left side bar from 150 lines code. Total how many lines code? 200 plus 150, 350 lines code. Okay, so for suppose, Facebook you have some 50 pages. Okay, 50 pages. Now 50 into 350, how much? 17,500. So, okay. 17,500, right? $17,500. So now people tell me 17,500. So if you write for all the 50 pages, we need to write 70,500. But what is the original lines of code? It's 350. So it's 350. So now people tell me, so for example, this code is common. This won't change every time. This 350 lines of code. So now, if you write in all the 50 pages, it's like a duplicate code, right? So every time we are just using the same code, we need to write. So for that reason, we have a concept called, two concepts we have. One is layout and partial views. What is that? Layout and partial views. So if we use them, so you need to create 100 lines and 100 lines, 100 lines, 150 lines. Then what will happen? 350 lines. This 350 lines code is enough. Wherever, whichever the pace we need, this 350 lines or any more, like 100 or 100 or 150, anything, simply we'll write only one line of code, then we can use them. Okay, so then what will happen? Simple. See, instead of writing, so people tell me now, which is better? It's better to write 70,500 lines of code or simply 350 or 400 lines of code, which is better? Which is better? 350 lines code or 70,500 lines code? What is that? 3,500. Yeah, 350 lines of code is better. So then how can we apply the reusability concept? So then we have a concept of partial view and layout views. So partial views and layout. So the by using layout and partial view, so the reusable components in our HTML will keep in this partial view or layout, and we can simply reuse them. That is what partial view. Now, if someone asks you what is partial, it's simple HTML logic. That's it. Okay. Now got it, guys. So this is what in ASP.NET we have a concept of user controls, but that's not required at all. Okay. Now HTML helpers. So HTML helpers. What is HTML helpers, sir? So HTML helpers is nothing but see our ASP, our MVC syntax code, like input type equals to text, input type equal to what text, after that what ID equal to something, so something. So after that you can keep something else, like what is the other one? ID equal to text box one. Okay. Similarly, if you need anything, then simply you can close this one. That's it. But in ASP.NET, how we need to do? A yes. So ASP controller name text box. After that, type equal to text, and we don't need text. I think. Run it equals to server. ID equal to something. After that, again ASP control name. Like that we need to write. But in our yeah, ASP.NET MVC, we have feature of HTML helpers. We don't need to write that much complex syntax. Simply we can use. So that's why we are using run at equal to server. That's the reason it is written as server controls. So this point, people tell me, do I need to explain? Or if people are aware? See, for example, I can create only one single controller or single model or single controller or model, and I can write complete all the pages logic, and we can use that. But which is not possible in ASP.NET. Okay, if people are clear with this point, so now see, yes. So and finally, unit testing. So unit testing I already explained, right? So that is easy in our ASP.NET MVC, but that's not possible in our ASP.NET. So I already explained about partial view and layout. So this is one. Now people tell me any questions in any point. People tell me anyone have any questions here? Anyone want me to explain one more time? Are you guys clear with all the things? Please confirm me. Why? Because for you people only, right? So I explain one more time. Okay. So one question asked this. Okay. So this temp data and so So like, if you want to pass the data from controller to controller or controller to view, or one action method to another action method, then we are going for a concept of view data, view bag, and temp data. Okay. But in ASP.NET, so we have recently seen state management techniques. So that is what view state query string and all. By using that, we can go with that. But anyway, in MVC, if you want to pass the data from one place to another place, we are going for a concept of view bag, view data, temp data. They are different categories we have. In that particular concept, we are going to see that. Okay, so I hope you people are clear. I'm moving to next topic. So in MVC, so I will just open one MVC application and I will show. So I'm just adding one controller, but anyway, mm, wait for a few more days, then we'll go for this controller. So this is my simple MVC program or something. I'm just trying to run the program. Then we'll see the output. So here somehow we got the output, right? So now, so whenever, so now we are just seeing, we are going to discuss about the application life cycle of MVC project. Okay. Now, so when I request that one, first initially where it will hit. This is my controller. So we are speaking about routing. So this is that routing folder. Okay. And one more class we have. Startup class. See, this is what our main application. So this is like, in MVC project. So like what is so in our console applications or something when we have discussed. So what is the starting point of execution for console application? Which method? What is the entry point of execution for console application? Yes, main method. So whatever you are seeing here, that application underscore start, that is what our main method here. Okay. So initially, this is our starting point of our execution for MVC project. So that's the reason it will come here. After that, if you people see here, so route config, from where we got it, from here we got it. See, this is a formal explanation only, but where we have separate concept of routing. There I will explain in detail about everything, but just observe what I'm telling and what we are doing and all we will see. Okay, I will explain in each and everything, like what is map route, what is default, what is controller, what is action, what is URL parameter, what is this one, what is that one, everything I will explain. Okay. Okay, this type of explanation is not required. I can go with theoretically, but you people may confuse. That's the reason I decided to give explain this practically. So from last previous batches also I'm following the same. So that shown me some better results compared to theoretical knowledge. That's the reason I want to show this one. Okay, let's see. Okay, so people see it. Okay, got it now. So what is this one? Route config file. Got it? So here now route config file. So the same route config file we kept here. So after that, what is this one? Did you people seen this anywhere? This one. Okay, so simply we are just calling this method. So what is the syntax for calling a static method? Can we create object to static class or static method? So can we call using a static object name dot method name for static method? What is the syntax for calling a static method? What is the syntax, guys? No one know? What about other people? So if people are not aware, only Basim and Kiran is saying, and now some other people also saying. Okay. So what is the so why so now this is static method, right? So what is the syntax for calling this method? Simply this class name dot this method name. So that's what they done here. See, please listen carefully. This explanation I cannot give again. So please listen carefully. Why? Because this is a lengthy topic. So if someone missed something, then half an hour of explanation we need to give again. That's the reason I'm asking you people to listen carefully. Okay. So see. So what is the class name? Route config. What is the method name? Register routes. What we wrote here. Class name dot method name. Are you guys agree for that? So this is what we have done. Now tell me. So we'll divide into pieces of the code and we'll just I will ask. So if anyone have doubt for that particular piece of code, I will explain. So again, after completion of everything, sir, I did not got there or something. Don't tell like that, please. Why? Because it's a very big concept. That's the reason. Okay, so now tell me, are you guys clear up to now? If someone have doubts, I will explain again. So simple. I did not told anything. So like this is like our entry point of our execution. That's what I shown. And this is our route config file I have shown. And now I kept 3 debuggers. You people know anyone? Do you people know about debugger? C# students, 6 to 7 students. Did I ever told you people how to debug a program? I did not told in our class previously in C#, maybe. Wasim, okay, no problem. We will tell now. Okay, so debugger. So simple. See, now I will move my cursor to here, line number 13, and just click on it. Then debugger will come. What is the purpose of debugger means? We can check line by line execution. So, for example, if you are working with ADO.NET program, if you want to check the execution flow of ADO.NET, then if you keep the debugger, then what will happen? Line by line, line by line, line by line, we can check. If for suppose if we are getting some error in that program, then what will happen? So line by line, we can execute, we can find the error and what is the error and we can easily solve that. Okay. So now what happened? I kept a deep. So I kept debugger. So 3 places. One is one with in my global.asx file, and one with my controller, and one with my route config file. So now we'll see which file it will hit first. So now any guess, will it comes to controller first or global.asx or route config file? Can someone suggest here? Can someone tell me which file? Because we are controller is heart of MVC execution. Will it come from controller or route config file, or will it come to global.asix file? Which one? Some people are saying global.asix and some people are saying route config and some people are saying controller. And yes, other people, any thoughts here? Okay, so now to avoid all the confusion, I will just run my program. Simple, I will run the program. Now we'll just see which one it will hit. So whichever it hits, that means that is the starting point of execution of MVC program. Yeah. So now which file it is? Which file? Route config or global.asx file or which file? So what is the file name here? This one. Global.asx file. What is that? Global.asx file. Okay, got it now. So now people tell me where it will reach as second point of execution. Not routers are, it is route config, router. So some, yeah, any more answers? Yes, please. See, I'm just giving some live example of the programs and also so that you know if people will be clear. That's why I'm saying. Okay, we'll see. So now, if I want to check the line by line execution, then you need to press F11 or F12. Okay, based upon your keyboard. Sometimes my keyboard, mine is Dell laptop, and my keyboard accepts function plus F11. Then only it is working for me. So like you know, for checking output also, I will always check like function F5. So how we are checking output, similarly, you need to check the next line also. It's starting point of execution only, Ritika. So for example, if you want to load some layout pieces there. So like you know, at the starting point, so whenever we start the application, if you want to load some data or something, so all those things we'll keep in our
global.asax file only. Like in our MVC, I have shown you like page load event. Similarly, here application start. That's what global.asax file is acts like that. Got it, Ritika? Okay, so now if I want to move to next line, see that line got color got changed now. Okay, function F11 again. So it moved. Now where it came here? What is the second point of execution now? Where it came? See, people needs to answer me. Then only I will explain everything in detail. Where it came? Second place. Where is the second point of execution now? Is that route config file or controller? Which one? Right? Correct. So just forget about all these things. Okay, forget about all these things. Why? Because when we have routing concept there, I will explain again. Okay, now again, now it will move to a third point of execution. What is that? Now who is pending? Now who else is pending? So now if I press F5, so or F11, you can press F5 also to directly move to the next point. So now it will move to our beautiful control. See where it came. So this is what our controller. This is what our controller. So now people tell me, are you guys clear up to now? So this is what the execution flow of MVC. So now people tell me when initially user hits the URL, what is happening? Tell me. So initially when user hits the browser with the URL, what happened then? What is the first step of execution? Controller. What is the first step? Perfect. Perfect. No, application start never tell like that. Koteswarrao. Koteswarrao. Chandrasekhar. So it's always global.asax only. Okay. So that means, see, yesterday day before yesterday, when I was explaining about request flow. So then I was saying like, URL will be there, route config will be there. That's what I told. So now you people understood that concept, right? So now what will happen? First step is global.asax file. Why global.asax file? What is the specialty of global.asax file? Can someone please tell me what is that global.asax file? It acts like which one? Main method. So what is that main method called? Starting point of execution. Okay. Are you guys clear up to that point? Please confirm. Are you guys clear up to this point? Yes, no. So no. So now once global.asax file is done, then where it is going? Route config file. So from route config file here, see, we just specified the controller name and action name, right? So simply it will go to that particular controller and particular action. So what is our controller name here? What is our controller name here? Home. So from where it came here, right? That home and this home both are same. And after that, simply it is going to the index. This is what our action method, but people don't worry. I will take care in our upcoming sessions. So what is this action result? What is this content result? Everything I will explain. You don't need to worry now. Why? Because see, this is like, just I want to show the execution flow. That's why I'm showing. Okay. So are you guys clear? Now I will wait for 2 minutes for questions. If someone wants me to explain any piece of content, I'm ready to explain. That's the reason. So see, now this become very much easy. Like we divide into pieces. part 1, part 2, part 3, like that. That's the reason this become easy. So MVC is little confusing and MVC is little hard in initial days, but later on MVC will become very much easier than any other concept for sure. But please follow everything then only. Okay, now people tell me. So I am waiting for 1 more minute, 6:42. So please tell me if anyone have any questions or doubts, I am ready to explain. No questions? Can I move? Can I move from here? So this is also, so to leave that one. Leave that one. So we are not I mean, we did not explain about application start, right? So when it comes, then we'll see. Okay. See, I did not explain how to create MVC project also now, like steps and all we used to give, right? So that part also I did not cover till now. We are going to cover. So before we covering that, I'm just showing the execution flow. Okay. Why? Because so when I explain about this life cycle, so if I explain theoretically, you will understand. But there will be lot of confusion for you guys. That's the reason I am trying to show from here. Okay. So now if I press continue, then see, we got the output. So this is where the step-by-step execution of our MVC program. Okay, now come back to our book. So first thing. So MVC application execution process. The first step is field route, fetch route, request context, controller instance, and finally response. What is field route? The first of all, MVC requests are mapped to route table, which in turn specify which controller and action to be invoked. So if the request is for first time, thing is to fill the route table with the route collection data. The filling route happens in global.asix file. Okay. So first, whenever whenever we run the application, then what is happening? So initially it will reach to what here, this one, our global.asix file. Yes or no? So from here, it is reaching where our global.asix file. So it will create one routing table. So what is that routing table? What is that routing table? I will tell you. Okay, so from where we are getting this one, from global.asix. So here it will create one routing table. Okay, so it will create one routing table. So and whenever it is checking this routing table, it will check like whether this route exists or not, first point, and whether this request came for first time or second time, like that it will check. Okay, so from where it will check global.asix file. So that's what we told. Okay, so what is the first one? Field route. So field route. MVC requests are mapped to route tables. So which in turn specify which controller and action to be invoked. So if the request is for first request, first thing it is to fill the route table with the collection. So this filling is happening where? Global.asix file. So first thing is field route. So field route is happening in global.asix file. here it will find which route it is and which controller it is, which model it, which controller it is, and which action method it is. Okay. Now, after that, what will happen? It will reach fetch route. So now it will directly reach to where route config file. So it will search for the particular route. So like, so here we have different routes will be available. If you want to add, we can add few more routes. Now it will search for the route. What is the controller name and what is the index name? So if that matches to that particular one, then simply it will go to our, controller. So that's what we told in our second point. And after that, what will happen? See, for example, if you are going for, like, if you're going to some bank for some loan closer or something, then what will happen? They will give you some tokens. So like token number 1, 2, 3, something. So what will happen? So all the tokens will come and people will go one by one, will people will go. Okay, so what will happen? See, token number 1 and token number 2 both are same. So for example, I came for closing some personal loan, and some other person came for closing home loan. Some other person came for taking some new loan, or some other person came to give some deposit some money. So then what will happen? So this is like request 1, request 2, request 3, like that. Okay, and these are different objects. So this token number, whatever the information about me, that will be that will maintain in where, in our token number 1. Similarly, so whenever we are requesting something, so every time one instance or context will be created for each and every request. Okay, so this is what called a request context, and after that controller instance. So now what will happen from this request? What is this request means? See, for example, I want to access some home page, so that is what my request. Then what I will do, boss, I want to so I want to, I am just sending one quotation, boss, I want to access the first page or second page or something. So that's what we are doing here. Okay, the route data object is used to create the request context object. Fine. The next one, control instance created. Now, before from where we are getting the output from controller. So now what will happen? Our controller is responsible for passing the data from controller to view, or it is responsible for getting the data from model. So it will pass the data. So what will happen? So there will be some process will be there, and controller will take care of what? All the execution. For example, if I want to communicate with some database and I want to get some data from database. Now, who is responsible for that? So in our model, we'll write some method for that. Okay, we'll write some method for that, and we'll try to we'll try to get the data from where? Database or something. So then what is happening? This controller will tell model, hey model, can you please get the data from database? Then model then model will it will connect with data access layer, and they will write some code for like, what is that? Select star from table name something, and after that they will they will display some data in our they will get the data from where? Database. So after that, after getting the data from database, this data access layer or model will give back data to whom? Controller. This controller will take the data and it will give the data to whom? You. Hey view, I got the data from model and database, can you please display on your HTML piece? So then the data will be displayed. So this process is called as controller instance. And finally, creating response object. So once we got the data and all, it will simply create response object. Okay. So any questions here? Okay. Anyway, in our tomorrow class, I will explain one more time about execution flow again. Okay. Okay. So mostly today I will share the book. Okay. So today I will share the book with you guys, so people can take the book. Okay. So now what is the first step? Fill route. So where it is happening? Global.asx file. Fetch route. Where it is happening? Route.config. Request in context will be created. After that, controller operations will happen here. And finally, we are generating the response. This is so simple. Okay. Fill route. So fill route means what is happening there. So in global.asx file, so we are just creating one routing table. Okay. So we are just creating one routing table. So after creating the routing table, so we are just finding whether that request is for first time or not. So if that is for first time, then it will create a routing, it will add that particular request to the routing table. If it is if we already requested for multiple times or something, definitely that will exist in routing table. So it will directly map to your route config file. Then fetch route will happen. This fetch route, what it will do, simply it will find which controller it is, which action it is, and that when we go for request, then what is happen, request context will be created. Now it will reach to control. Now controller is responsible for finding which action method it is and which model it is, which view it is, everything it will find. Okay. After that, what will happen? So we'll create the response object. So whenever we create the response object or something, then what will happen? So finally, the response. So whatever the data we are getting from database, or whatever the data we are getting from model, so whatever the data we are getting from controller, they will simply bind to your view. So how the view will bind? Okay, we wait for some more classes. Then uh, how the data is passing from controller to view, and how we are getting data from model to controller. All those things we are going to see. Okay. So any questions? Are you guys clear up to now about MVC? Like from day one, anyone have any questions? Anyone want me to explain any specific topic again, like from day one? If people are so dull, what happens? So if people are feeling difficulty in understanding MVC, Anusha, Asha, Garima, Gopi, Kranti, Krishna Rathod, Nagbabu, Ramya, Ramesh, Venkat Reddy, okay. So you want me to explain anything, Ramesh? Some specific thing again? Ramesh, tell me. So if you need more explanation on something, I'm ready to give you. Okay, fine then. So tomorrow, I will give the notes for MVC application execution process, and I will explain one more time theoretically. If possible, will show practically also one more time. After that, our next topic is the first program with MVC. Then your confusions and everything will have. See this execution life cycle. After doing some 6-7 programs in MVC, you will feel like, oh, this much only. This is so easy. And route config, oh, so you will feel everything will feel like, route config will be say, so everything you will do the daily, and after doing 2-3 times, then what will happen? You will feel like, okay, so this is easy only. Okay, fine. So tomorrow we'll see that. Thank you all for joining. We'll meet tomorrow.